All right. That's very nice.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Oh, look, it's China, where the air's so nice you can cut it with a knife. All right. Not a lie. Guy invented a machine and made solid cubes of their air. They weren't big cubes, but it was solid. 2 years ago, it was so bad. Oh, how bad was it? All right, fine. 2 years ago, it was so bad they made everybody stay home for a month. That's smog, yes. That's temperature inversion and pollution doesn't rise. Yes, it happens in Mexico City too, and in LA. All right. So here we are, but they're still doing their morning function. I am recording. Thank you. Their morning Tai Chi, which is just as that commercial says, karate in slow motion. All right.
I think it's like a state.
Environmental degradation and environmentalism. Our last one. Ending with the environment. Why not? It was fine, and then we started farming. Okay. Though those many years ago.
Go back to being
Like Cambodia? Go back to year zero and we should all be Cambodian? Do you really want to farm?
no.
Oh, okay. It would be like the Jamestown colony. A whole bunch of middle-class, bougie white guys landed in Virginia looking for gold. Like, wait, there's no food here? I don't want to farm. Send a mani-pedi. All right. I can honestly say I've never received a mani-pedi. All right. Not that I would say no, but. All right, there we go. Industrialization has had an adverse effect on the world's environment. What? Crazy talk. Air and water pollution, deforestation, endangered species, all because of industrialization, but not just because of industrialization. Species will become endangered and extinct through the natural course of time. We will eventually cease to occupy space on this planet. We just will. Either via science or rapture, but one way or another, we're leaving. Okay. The average Japanese consumes 10 times as much as the world resources as the average Bangladeshi. Japan and Bangladesh have the same number of people. I just say population. But these people, why is that in quotes? Have vastly different effect on their ecosystems.
When it's in brackets, it was not in the quote. They put it there to clarify.
I know, but why? These people?
They could just say population, and these people would be.
Thank you. All right. The burning of fossil fuels has emitted pollutants. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, grammar lesson number 1, and these have been going on all semester, but I have bitten my tongue. Fossil fuels emit pollutants. That's passive voice. Passive voice is icky.
Acids don't emit pollutants.
They do emit pollutants.
When they're burned, they release pollutants.
When something leaves a tunnel, it is emitted. When something leaves a smokestack, it's emitted. That's emitted. Because E is for exit and out. That's emitted. Okay. They can burn it all they want. If it doesn't leave that smokestack, they're not emitting anything. The emitting part's the bad part. You can burn it all day. If you can control the smoke, give it air like a car, you emit less. Or just a controlled burn. You can emit less. Anyway. No. Okay. I read them when I'm at home. Well, no, that's look at how big that is. It's called, this is from the article 10,000 Shovels, China's Urbanization and Economic Development. They are doing a forced migration of 250 million people. I think that's right. Into the cities. And they were going to move them to the cities, have them build the houses where they'll live, so then they can build the factories where they'll work. So they're trying mass urbanization in China. All right.
Forest, you said?
Well, come live here, yes. Or, passive aggressive. Okay. And, women's approach. Fossil fuels also emit heavy metals. Yeah. Leading to acid rain, which is the perfect thing to come from heavy metal, if you think about it. Acid rain, it wouldn't be like daisy rain. Kills trees and other organisms, corrodes metal structures. That's nice. Gets in your groundwater, but the earth is an aquifer. Anyway. Yes. CFCs, which are Kentucky Fried Chickens. No, I'm kidding. Your KFCs. What's a CFC?
It's basically.
No, what's it mean? What's it stand for?
I have no idea.
Wait, hold up.
I know the last two words are fluorocarbons.
It's
Yeah, chlorofluorocarbons. Chemicals used in coolant systems like R12 refrigerant, R114. What? It's fluorocarbons. That's why it's FC. Well, then it'd be C. I don't know.
It's fluoro because it has fluorine in it.
Is that an apes thing? It could be, and I will trust you to look it up. Apes, AP Environmental Science. Damage the Earth's ozone layer, which protects the sun from protects us from the sun's ultraviolet rays. Yes, UVA, UVB, UVC. There you go. Oh gosh. Oh, I know this. Oh, that's just showing you the big old hole in the ozone over Antarctica. Poor penguins. Emperor penguins. And how many people getting and weddings? All those people want a nice white Antarctic wedding.
That combined with the white snow, you can get serious something.
People want to get married in Antarctica. That way they can, I don't know. Right? Oh, no, not married, give birth.
Yeah.
Have their child born in Antarctica. That way they can be an Antarctican.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of sick though.
Yeah.
It's a pretty privileged flex. Yeah, all right. Smog, which is pollution, ladies and gentlemen, pollution close to the Earth's surface, envelops many modern cities. And again, this has to do with temperature inversion. As you know, cold air settles, all kinds of stuff.
Isn't that the name of the dragon?
That's smog, SMAUG.
Like
Philistine. All right. Philistine. In 1952, a toxic smog covered London for 4 days. It caused 4,000 deaths. and Britain passed the Clean Air Act of 1956. So it took 4,000 deaths for politicians to work together.
I mean, that's why rules are created. Someone had to do it for it to be illegal.
I understand that. But if you take deaths, you take inflation and deaths into account, I guess enough people, I don't know, you don't have to die before doing anything else. Okay, let me go back. So here's London in 56. There's London not in 56. It also doesn't hurt your effect when one picture's in black and white and at night, and that's probably fog because it's London. But you get the point. It's cleaner in London now than it was in the 50s.
I love rain.
I went for a week. It rained 3 days in April.
I remember Scotland has all of them.
I know that.
They're like,
Edinburgh's cooler than London. London's cool. The Indian food's outstanding. But
You said that.
what?
A few years ago, we had like the same amount of rain in Raleigh as they have in Seattle. Yeah,
Yes.
Because it doesn't rain, it's like drizzling.
Yeah, it's just gray in Seattle. It doesn't steady rain all the time. It's just gray and drizzly, and I like that misty kind of stuff. I can do Seattle. See Eddie better. In 1950, okay, and then New York City before the Clean Air Act in 1970. Oh, so 14 years later, America's like, okay. And New York actor. Actually, New York is clean top down since 1970. Times Square is safe for children now.
It wasn't safe before.
No, it was all porn. It was all like video shops and porn shops, and it was slums and dirty, and now it's all pretty and what's the word?
Elmo,
Gentrified and all kind of modernized. Yeah, and all those people will make you pay for the picture. And the naked cowboy, he's wearing underwear. He calls himself the naked cowboy. He wears a cowboy hat, underwear, and boots, and plays a guitar and sings in Times Square.
Oh, that's like an actual.
Isn't that?
Yeah, why did I make that up?
I don't know.
All right, you know my kids. All right, China continues to industrialize rapidly, but government resistant to strict environmental policies because it's threatening growth. And this happens a lot in those countries that are compacting and really trying to push forward with industrialization. They cut corners. They want to catch up. They want to be competitive in the market. Environmental things, that's a horrible word. But all the safeguards and all the machinery and all the kind of infrastructure you need to be more environmentally prudent is expensive. American businesses hate it because it's expensive and it adds to cost. And yes, the air can be cleaner, but your shoes are $10 more. Fine. I'll pay it. Anything that keeps water on the planet and keeps it drinkable, at me. I'm here for it. Air, I know how to make it. Just build a machine. Oh, that's pretty. Beijing and other Chinese cities among the most polluted cities on Earth. Almost constant problems with smog. It's also large populations, vertical, the taller the structures. If you go to I can only speak to New York. I mean, I've been to Chicago once. It's called the Windy City for a reason. Actually, I've been to both. But anyway, New York is cold. The wind always blows. Even downtown in Raleigh, when you get to the taller parts of downtown, the wind always moves. It's always cold. The sun in November in New York City never rises above the building. The streets are always dark. Here, you have tall buildings, lots of people, not a lot of air movement, and no pollution control, or very little pollution control. It makes for chewy air.
Maybe air.
Probably tastes like gasoline.
Tastes like metal.
Yeah. Like, have you ever smelled gasoline? That's probably what it would taste like.
It would smell like exhaust. It would taste like the smell of exhaust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carbon monoxide.
And scarce metals and stuff like that. All right. Anyway, burning fossil fuels is also contributing to global warming. The greenhouse gases in the atmosphere trap heat, raising temperatures. So I guess the best way to get those greenhouse gases out is to make the hole bigger in the ozone layer, so they all escape. There you go. So we can all breathe and cook at one time. All right. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Not serious. All right.
Because like the ozone layer isn't under.
I know. It's a big hole.
Yeah, but the
I know. It's a
even more
filter. It's
polluted
for.
down there.
I know, man. I'm just trying to be funny. I'm just trying to be funny. God. Science people kill all the fun. That's why I had to leave neuroscience. Couldn't joke about brain damage. All right. I'm kidding. Kidding. Trust me, if I could have figured out a way to remyelinate something, like that would have been my life's work. All right. But no, and whether you believe that man is causing the Earth's temperature to rise or not, I don't care. Regardless, and not because I don't care, just because whatever. Regardless of what's doing it, it is happening. Whether it is natural phenomenon and it's going to happen anyway without us, or whether we're making it worse, or a combination of both, or in some cases people think neither, but they do. There are also people who believe the Earth is flat. There are also people who believe the Holocaust never happened. So, biggest carbon dioxide emitters, we're number 1A. We're 1A. America China. I get China. I just spoke of why China would be such a high emitter of of carbon dioxide gas, or carbon emitters, period. They're trying to industrialize at all costs to be a manufacturing giant. They have the workforce for it. We have no excuse other than we don't care, in my opinion. There are regulations on buildings. There are regulations on factories. Yes, some businesses still dump their waste, and they are fine nominally, but they are. Where's our carbon coming from?
Military production.
Partly, and cars. No, not factories. Our factories are some of the cleanest factories on the planet. Nobody in America can live without a vehicle. Most people in China still own more bikes than cars. So China does have automobiles, don't get me wrong, and there's an automobile market, but most Chinese pedal. Most Europeans ride a train or a subway or walk because their houses are downtown, and then the further out you go is the less desirable housing in old European cities. They're a city model. Anyway, but yeah,
What is the Japanese color? I can't tell.
Blue.
here. It's in between there. They're also a byproduct of cramped living spaces. There's only so many people in that area, automobiles, and they smoke, man. The Japanese love
All
cigarettes.
the smoking scent are.
But I mean that's really not going to cause it. But no, they're islands. They're very rocky islands, and the population centers are very dense. And then tsunamis and nuclear power plants. But that's not carbonated. All right, and then as you can imagine, it is lighter where you expect it to be lighter. Even Ireland, which over the last 30 years has taken in a lot of American investment, it's still here because it's Irish rules and they're EU rules for emissions. They're EU rules. So if an American company goes to Europe, they have to abide by European rules. That only makes sense. If you're from North Carolina, you get pulled for, if you don't follow the speed limit in South Carolina, you get a ticket in South Carolina. You can't just say, I don't live here. So, anyway, global warming will have calamitous effects if nations don't curb their carbon footprint and confront warnings of scientific community. Potentially. I don't want to test that hypothesis, but potentially. Okay. Global warming causes more erratic and severe weather patterns like hurricanes, melting ice caps, higher ocean levels, and severe droughts. Well, think about it. Melting ice caps would be a direct correlation to rising ocean levels. Just.
The melting correlates to everything.
Right. Droughts have to do with, well, we know what causes droughts. What I mean is the rise in drought. Just shifting in weather patterns and shifting in precipitation patterns. Again, Dubai building a mountain isn't stupid from a meteorological and environmental perspective. It is not a questionable thing to do. From a monetary and feasibility perspective,
So like,
yes. The red area may be submerged if 80% of the global ice melts. It is us.
I can't tell if we're on the beach or if we are.
We're under the beach.
That like the middle of.
We're Atlantis.
so we're gonna drown.
Right.
Look, it wouldn't be overnight. We'd see it coming.
It'd be like in the next 200 years.
Yeah. This is, I mean, so there you go.
Yeah, then again, it is
America and Europe.
Yeah, Russia would look like a bear. What? That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, right there?
Yeah.
Who's laughing now?
Well, Africa is a very, very high sea level.
I know, but look at how lush it is if all that ice melts.
The green just means it's above water.
And actually, but we could do this. You could desalinate water and just pump it into the desert. It's just not cost effective. But there have been studies to de-desertify, de-desert Africa. it would take a lot of water, but it could be done. Because that wasn't desert. I mean, at Pangea, that just kind of moved. It was lush and fertile and supported life, and then no. All right. The environmental impact of global warming will intensify existing problems like famine, conflict, refugees seeking new homes. Maybe. Look at what's not affected. They grow a lot of food there. They grow food there. They can grow food. We know how. There's plenty of land for food. And there's more than enough land for the people who occupy this planet right now. Some of this is a little calamitous, but that's okay. We can feed everybody 4 meals a day with all the food we have on a daily basis.
For how long?
Yes, for right now, yes. Given current, because we have plenty of food. It's an accessibility issue, not a production issue. Our population is shrinking. Most developed countries' populations are shrinking.
So we'll probably get it back up. But the government encourages.
How do you? Yes, the government does like they do in where was that? The Netherlands, where they pay couples to go away for the weekend to make babies. They give you a weekend in a hotel. Please help us out. Yeah.
They do that.
Yes.
Who's they?
The Dutch,
They still do
Got the
that?
red light.
Yeah.
Really.
because they need. Yes, ma'am.
Isn't there a pretty like striking percentage of food produced in America goes to
Like-
our cattle and livestock?
Yeah.
Most of our corn feeds
Isn't that
non-humans.
60%?
Yeah. Yeah,
I have like a.
and cows aren't designed to eat corn.
It gives them gas.
Correct. If you no. If you ever don't want to eat meat, go watch Food Inc. I showed that maybe health class before. They have to cut a hole in cows and pull the corn out because their stomachs can't digest it. It's a permanent hole.
That's so disgusting.
It's also horrible for the environment. Raising livestock is horrible for the environment. It's crazy. Anyway,
And then if we grow it in labs, it will be humane and it won't. As much.
Seriously?
so grow fake meat, man. Grow it in a lab.
Yeah, but
Grow steak in a lab.
big meat says it's bad.
I know fake meat says it's bad. Well, while we're working on the project, we'll burn a few. Since no one
It's
here's
also really expensive.
taken hug. I know it's like vertical farming. As soon as it's cost effective, I'm buying $100,000 stock in vertical farming. I'll take out a loan. But maybe 10,000. All right. Bring that down a bit. Global warming and air pollution require global response from developing industrial countries. The U.S. and China are the world's two biggest polluters. The more developed a country, the more you pollute, the more resources you use. If you're a developed country, you use more petroleum, you use more coal, you use more of everything. Electric cars are no more environmentally friendly than gasoline ones. It's just a different stain on the environment. What do you do with the batteries? They don't last forever. And right now, you really can't recharge them. It's nickel, cad, it's a bunch of other metals that are mined and strip mined in various parts of Africa. Cobalt is a big one. You got, they talk about conflict-free diamonds. They need to be conflict-free batteries for your cars. You got 8-year-olds mining these things. Sorry.
Electric cars are better for humans. Slightly better for humans because it's not polluting the air. It's polluting the ground.
Right, and we can make air, and water's hard to make. Look at Matt Damon on Mars. Look how hard that was. You haven't seen The Martian?
If you keep all the batteries in a secure metal container.
Like a nuclear reactor, like nuclear waste?
Yeah.
You just want more waste underground?
Yes. They won't really pollute the water as much as if you just put it in.
All things decay.
Yes.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. The world's biggest polluters, China, mainland. Because remember, they want their Taiwan. America, India. And then we have Russian Federation, Japan, Germany, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Republic of Korea, Canada, the UK, and 196 other countries. Literally rest of the world. Now, why might Russia and Iran and Iran be in this list?
Oil.
Oil and nuclear, but oil especially, yeah. They're petroleum producers and natural gas. India, because there's 1 billion people,
Yeah.
and cows, which are sacred and not killed and not eaten, and they have industry too. All right,
It's very dense.
it's very dense, big country, pockets of giant amounts of people.
Medium. China's bigger.
Okay.
I think that's a dolphin.
It is a doll, yes, it's a doll. I would not show this slide if it was a human being. Unless it was the one who washed up on the shore in Italy from Turkey.
Oh,
The proven point of my record. Water pollution is another environmental crisis caused by industrialization. It is. Plastic, it pains me that there are plastic bottles in this room. It pains me that I had to buy them just because we couldn't drink from fountains for a while.
Wait,
What? Plastic bottles are
what was the
horrible
last one?
for the environment.
I don't buy them. I reuse this.
Perfect. Water pollution often occurs when non-biodegradable and sometimes toxic materials are dumped or leached into rivers. The biggest polluter of groundwater,
this
India.
farming. Yes, farmers are the biggest polluters of groundwater. Pesticides,
they have to
herbicides.
restock rivers with fish.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
We probably all went through this book in sixth grade, but flush, it dealt with water pollution. Like this dude was like dumping waste from his yacht into the water. And he was trying to prove it, so he like took died in the waste. Yeah, and then they turned the ocean pink, and then they're like, "There's your proof." Well, not ocean, river. But
Is that a,
from-
was it a casino? It was one of those, what was the book called? John?
Flush.
Flush.
Yeah, it was
Oh my gosh, look at this memory learning. All right. Hey, how come your parents didn't take you to the game, man?
I did.
Anyway, I'm glad you got to go.
Did you go?
Dude, no. No. It's not the finals. I don't care. I told you, I've been to- anyway, flush water. Oh, and submarines compact their trash and send it to the bottom of the ocean. In biodegradable tins. This is all the way down as far as it'll go. That's the trash. It's not our waste. Our waste is stored in a tank and then pumped into a truck before the port. Yeah. All right, we're pretty clean vehicles, actually. In the 1930s and 1960s, yes, yes. Toxic materials in the Cuyahoga River burst into flames several times. Cleveland, where the lake burns. In the 60s and 70s, Lake Erie and lakes around Cleveland were so polluted, they would burn, catch on fire. Yes, fish fry. And now again, the Clean Water Act of 1972. But you know, the industrialization thing is the same everywhere. In America, in the late 1800s, industrialized. Oh wait, those are children. Okay, can't have them. Industrialized. Oh wait, we need to have windows. Okay. Oh, you can't lock people in buildings. Oh, okay. Because they were losing money with breaks. So they locked them in buildings, and there was a fire, and like, okay, not good. So there's always something that makes us do things differently. Burning water should raise a flag of some sort. Okay, deforestation. The destruction of forests in developing countries is occurring at an alarming rate, especially in the rainforest. Okay, bad answer. No credit. I didn't get credit for that statement. Statewide, it's being deforested. State who's being deforested, who's some of the countries deforesting, and how much. Yes, you were SAQ ready. All right,
We're planning for it.
we are. We're planning forests. There's a, you read for every roll of paper towels, we plant 5 trees. Blah 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 blah. So there's a lot of reforestation going on. I would love to have Sanderson plant 1 million trees. Anyway, Net loss of forest in the Amazon rainforest, in the Yucatan Peninsula, up in Russia, in parts of Africa, all over here. Oh,
So,
yep. And then there's land degradation. So now we're looking at desertification, more so than before.
And then there's just like Finland that just has a complete.
And Sweden.
Yeah.
Yep. Good.
How do they measure, like, what is it?
The operational definition of a forest, I do not know. That's an
I think
excellent
it's
question.
just a group of trees.
It's gotta be I mean, no, because there's like a grove, like there's all sorts of different, it's like, battalion, a brigade, that kind of stuff. It's gotta
I'm
be a
pretty
definition.
sure it's like a land area that it has to cover to be classified.
That's what we're saying. So what's the criteria to be, how much land
It may be like
is a forest?
2 square miles.
He said it might have a functioning like.
Ah,
I
an
just
ecosystem,
looked up, this is a large area covered mostly with trees.
a large area.
That's great.
Large.
It has to be 0.5 hectares of trees taller than 5 meters. Like canopy that covers more than 10% of the trees.
Okay, so what's a hectare then? What's a hectare? How much is a hectare?
I
Hectare.
think it's
100 acres.
So 500 acres minimum to be a forest.
And it's mainly, so like all of Raleigh would probably be on.
So the 100-acre wood, not a forest. It's a grove. I don't know what, no, that's a certain type
Yeah,
of tree.
it's 3/4 of a square mile. It's a forest.
All right. Deforestation leads to changing weather patterns. It does. It leads to desertification. It does. It leads to buildup of carbon dioxide, which affects weather patterns. We need trees. I'm here for the trees. I speak for the trees. Everybody does not need that need. Best song in that whole movie. Let them die. Let them die. Let them shrivel up. Anyway, the extinction of plants, the extinction of animals, and other things. Think of all the businesses. Think of all the cultural and economic entities affected by these changes.
We've lost close to.
And then think, I don't want numbers at the moment, and then think about the ripple effect of those and how one thing, this doesn't even get into groundwater issues, but that's part of the environmental. People are not taking, I'm telling you, our next war is going to be fought over water. What's the score? Dust 60, sulfur dioxide 43, air pollution kills, breathing is dangerous to your health. Like early memes. In the 1960s, activists began movements protesting destructive consequences of population growth and industrialization. Every so often in the history of, I know of America, we really question, do we need this many people worldwide? Environmentalists stressed an ecological approach to saving nature, partially inspired by Rachel Carson's book, The Silent Spring. Another great botanist and not really environmentalist, but Edward O. Wilson. I've read a couple of his books on human nature. He studied ants and he studied other things, and then he just kind of expounded on his theories. But he was sort of my he was sort of my scientific muse, so to speak. I read all his stuff, so I thought it was really cool. On Human Nature is a good book. Because it is more comfortable to believe in pleasant things, most of us continue today to believe that our country there will always be plenty. This is the comfortable dream of the average American, but it is a fallacious dream. It is a dangerous dream, bless you. Only so long as we are vigilant to cherish and safeguard our resources against waste, against overexploitation, and against destruction will our country continue to be strong and free. Conservation leads to freedom, according to Ms. Carson. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yes. Whee! Frolic. Green movements raise public awareness about the environmental issues like deforestation, pollution, extinction of species. You know this. Green movements mostly effective in developed countries and less effective in developing countries because they are willing to sacrifice their environment to grow economically because of all the other doors it opens to my people. If you want me to spend money on schools and roads and things like that, what are you watching? Yeah. Then you have to let us build our industry, which means we're not going to have these trees. So they use that kind of talk to make their decisions. And it's also because they're trying to do what they feel is best for their people with the resources, the technology they possess at any given moment. Earth Day. In 1970, the United States designated April 22nd each year as Earth Day, trying to raise awareness for environmental issues. That was nice. The 1970s, that makes sense. The year after Woodstock. In 1971, Greenpeace International was founded, promoting direct action against environmentalism, against environmental threats. Successful, very controversial. Some argue it's a terrorist organization.
Like specific country or argue that? Or
Yes,
Just
certain countries. And then there are certain members of countries. Yes.
Exactly what's like, target suddenly forecasted.
Yeah, man. Turn the hose on.
Never heard of
Never heard of Greenpeace?
it. For Ego.
Right.
That's like a one.
Okay. The National Council of Women of Kenya organized the Green Belt movement, planting trees to stop deforestation. Also, it stops desertification. You can plant things, soil doesn't need roads.
that's why we have
What?
I definitely but because yeah, and they brought it over the invasive species so to try to stop soil erosion, and then it like got way out.
Yeah, kudzu's net. Kudzu's just a foul line.
Same thing with like horned frogs and they brought like getting some of the most
No, our carp,
Which country?
ours, the ones that came from, there are carp in all the rivers in Michigan. They eat all of it.
There's a carp in some of the lakes.
In 1989, the Montreal Protocol, created with 197 countries, agreeing to phase out substances that deplete the ozone. Well, that's nice. Well, it's not 2030 yet. It's an ongoing thing.
I mean, look, it did go down.
Chlorine concentrations without controls, chlorine concentrations in the phase out. So, anyway, no, that's without controls.
Yeah, that's it would have happened.
Oh, without the controls, right. Yeah, so it's still there, just not as bad. But I wonder, but that's only the countries that join.
That's mostly.
That's most, but that's not all of them.
Then all.
I don't think.
I mean, China's probably not a part of it.
An international treaty, the Kyoto Protocol. Oh, yes. This is about emissions, and the goal was to reduce carbon emissions by 1990 by 5%. Look who opted out.
There's 193
And Canada,
countries.
though.
Yeah, I know, Canada too, I know, opted out.
Even China.
No, China, these people adopted it without putting emissions restrictions on their own stuff.
At least they tried.
They're not trying.
Well, try more than we did.
There's really no difference. If you think about it, if you're not going to put those restrictions on your industry, what's the difference? This was the expected change. That was the actual change. Who were the biggest producers?
US and China.
US and China. Neither one of them took part. This was 97. That's the Clinton administration. No, that's the Bush administration. George Herbert Walker Bush administration. I think. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. 16 and 20. 16 to 8. No, that was the Clinton administration. Bush was 2000. All right. And there, I believe. I don't care about my one dropper. What is that? It? We end our notes with this. In 1997, the Kyoto Protocol created to combat warming. The U.S. refused to ratify it. China and India ignored its terms. Hence, a 63% negative result. The Paris Agreement was signed by 195 countries, became the world's first comprehensive climate agreement. We did support it. China did support it. Our previous president took us out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And our current president put us back in it, day one. Again, the climate agreement, some of the key points, keep warming below 2 degrees Celsius. So the temperature is going to go up because it is going to go up, because there are 3 billion people, 3+ billion people on the planet, or no, 7+ billion people on the planet, sorry. It's going to go up. There are animals, there are cars, but if we could slow down the temperature change, that's good. Move money around, developed countries must focus more on it, help out vulnerable countries, review every 5 years. Again, developed countries have to share the burden of this with other countries. Anyway, big long list of things. Make things better. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And also, who were the people who didn't sign the Paris Agreement?
I don't know. How many countries? Well, you said 190.
193 recognized by the UN.
Okay. So there's others like
Probably like 28.
Eritrea. Yeah, there are others. Okay. That's it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no small feat. You have successfully learned that, well, you've been exposed to an awful lot of information. And you have stayed with it, and you have not quit. And for that, I say thank you, and you should thank yourselves. That is all. Tomorrow is your test. I'm going to pull up. Let me stop recording here. I'm going to go ahead and.
So on the
Yes, it's on the class.